What's good? This is Kicks, and this is Kickin with Kicks. Today, I want to talk about my NBA predictions. So first, I want to go over the East. I'm gonna try to run through this real quick because right now it's 6:40. So I have less than an hour before the first game starts today. First, let's talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers have an over or under of 56 and a half games. I'm taking the over with that. I think Evan Mobley will have the offensive leap that we've been waiting on. Um, he looks like he's gotten stronger during the preseason. They've been raving about him in the off season. I think he'll be in top 6 MVP discussions. Top 6. The reason I say top 6 because I think Jokic, Giannis, Luka, SGA, and Anthony Edwards will all be in there. Next, the Knicks. Their over under is 53 and a half. I'm going to take the over. I don't think Cat will have the same statistical year as last year, but I think it will lead to more team success this year. Um, I think the offense is going to be very smooth as a whole. It's going to be more team oriented. Next, the Orlando Magic. They have a 50 and a half over or under. I'm going to take the under, but just slightly. I'm going to take them at 49 games. I was thinking they might win 50 or 51. I think they're going to be really close to the mark. I think Bane and Tyus Jones are going to increase the offense by a lot compared to last year. I think it's going to be a big improvement. Having health for this team is just going to be very important. Very, very important. The Atlanta Hawks. Under or over is 47 and a half. I'm going to take the under on the Hawks. Just slightly on the under for the 47 and a half games. I think Trae Young is going to be very efficient this season. I think he might be very close to that 50, 40, 90. Porzingis, I think he'll play 43 between 65 games. He might make the mark, but I think he'll just make it if he makes the award mark. I think he's going to be very nice this season. Going to put some big time stats when needed. I don't know if they're going to run Onyeka and Porzingis a lot together, but we'll see about that. The Detroit Pistons, over under 46 and a half. I'm going to take the over on Detroit Pistons. I think very highly of the Detroit Pistons. I think Cade is going to clean up on some of them turnovers. Look like he's more molding himself into an MVP form. I think their offense will rank higher, a little bit higher than last year. Even if it's just the same rank, I think it's going to have a better rating, offensive rating. I think this got to work out the chemistry, but I think Karis LeVert and Duncan Robinson will be really nice additions to the team for their offense. The Philadelphia 76ers, they have over under 45 and a half. I'm going to take the under. I really, really want to take the over in some part, but I'm just not sure about Joel Embiid's health. I see he got to play in the preseason. He looked pretty solid for the few clips I got to see. I'm really wishing he stays healthy because the league is better for Joel Embiid playing. I think he'll play anywhere between 36 to 51 games. That's my guesstimate. But I'm going to take the under. Not a huge under on them, but I think they will probably be in playing range. I think Joel Embiid is going to try to monitor that knee. I don't like if it's aggravated. I think he's going to try to sit some games, so that's why I don't think he's going to play a whole lot. I think one of the young guys will make a big impact, whether it's VJ Edgecombe or it's Quentin Grimes. We know Jerry McCain is injured right now, but I think one of those guys will make a huge impact for this team. Milwaukee Bucks, over or under 43 and a half games. I'm going to take the over on the Milwaukee Bucks. I think Giannis is going to carry them this season. I think he's going to be in top 3 MVP discussions. I think Miles Turner will shoot well from 3. I think he'll average more rebounds probably. And then I think Cole Anthony will eventually take the starting spot and be a very good facilitator for them. He just has to stay healthy. But if he could take the starting spot, that means KPJ is probably still doing good, but Cole Anthony is doing better. That would be really nice for the Bucks. The Boston Celtics, there are 41 and a half win on the over and under. I'm going to take the over on them. just slightly on the over. I think Jaylen Brown averages more than 26 or more points. Um, Derek White, I think he plays like All Star. I think he's gonna be at All Star level. I don't know if he'll make the All Star team, but I think he's gonna be in the discussion for sure. Um, I think it's gonna be very noticeable. The big depth on that team, I think they're gonna struggle a little bit with rebounds and just getting some paint paint points. But I think they're probably gonna be in the play in. We'll go through my standings as well after I'm done with all these over unders for the East. Toronto Raptors, 38 and a half. I'm gonna take the under on that. I think they're gonna be competitive. I think one of those four guys is probably not gonna fit well, whether it be Quickly, Ingram, Barnes. I don't think it's gonna be Barnes that they have to rework or RJ Barrett. Um, it's gonna be probably one of those guys. I probably lean more to Quickly or RJ Barrett. I feel like it's just gonna happen. They're gonna try to trade one of them. I can't explain it. I haven't even watched the preseason of them. That's what just feels like something coming because they I feel like they already want to trade a player. I feel like something's not gonna work out fully smooth. Also, when I mean they're gonna be competitive, I think they're gonna be fighting for a playing spot. I feel like they're probably gonna lose some close games that was important in their playing run. The Miami Heat, 37.5 wins. I'm actually going to take the under. I feel so wrong for not believing in the Heat because they have proved me wrong and wrong over and over. I think Norman Powell will take the scoring role of Tyler Hero until Tyler Hero comes back. And I think they'll be fighting for the playing race. They could easily take it, but I have another team overtaking it. We'll go that when I talk about the standings. Indiana Pacers, over under 37.5 wins. I'm going to take the over on the Pacers. I think the Pacers are going to make the play in. I think Nimhart takes a big step in this PG role. Looks like a real leader. I think he's going to be the most improved player. I should talk about Wards later, but I think he's going to be the most improved player. I'm just going to say that now. I think Pascal takes on more responsibility. He makes it known he is underrated in this league. I think he's going to average more rebounds, more points, hopefully more assists, and probably a few more blocks. Next, the Chicago Bulls, 33.5. I'm going to take the under on that. I think Josh Giddey and Monis Bazelis are going to certify themselves in the Bulls organization, but I don't think the team would just win enough games. I feel like they're going to try to fight for that playing spot, but I feel like they're not going to win enough games to really fully be in the race near the end. The Charlotte Hornets, they have a 27.5 win over and under. I'm going to take the over. LaMelo Ball, I think he's still healthy enough to be an all-star. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to meet the requirement for the 65. So at some point, I think he's had the long history of the ankle problems. I hope that doesn't happen. I think the team chemistry will be at all-time high. I think they'll be able to battle storm even if LaMelo falls to a certain degree. I think Colin Sexton will really step up. And you also have Trey Mann as well to help out if LaMelo has to, be down for a while. Next, the Washington Wizards. They have an over-under of 28.5 wins. I'm going to take the over on the Wizards. I think Cam, Sar, Bub, Trey show sparks. I think they show sparks of them being the future of the team or being assets to trade later on in the future. But I think they're going to have some fun games here and there. And then lastly, the Brooklyn Nets. They have 20.5. I'm going to take the under on that. I don't think the Nets are going to be a team that wins a lot of games, just to be honest. I don't think it's going to be great hoops. I think MPJ and Cam are going to average a lot of shots, pretty high points, but I don't think it'll lead to winning. It'll shock me if they did anywhere as close as good to last year. Now let's go over my East standings, who I think will be in each spot. At number 1, I got the Cavs. 2, the New York Knicks. 3, the Orlando Magic. 4, the Atlanta Hawks. 5, the Detroit Pistons. 6, the Milwaukee Bucks. 7, Indiana Pacers. 8, Boston Celtics. 9, Philadelphia 76ers. I'm just not sure about that. Embiid health throughout the season. And my bold prediction, 10, the Charlotte Hornets. I think they'll end up making the playoffs for the play-in. I don't know why I feel this confidence team. I just feel like this team is going to get it going. They're going to be underestimated when it comes time to play them. I think they're going to have a lot of chemistry and find a way just to battle and win and finally make the playoffs. 11, the Miami Heat. I think they're just going to miss the play-in. 12, the Toronto Raptors. I think they're going to be in that play-in race, but just miss it. Chicago Bulls, I have at 13th. 14th, the Washington Wizards. And 15th, the Brooklyn Nets. When doing these, I was trying to like put numbers with the over and unders, like how many wins the teams actually will get. I'll put it on a graphic, but it made me feel not as confident as my picks. I was like, no way, this team only gets this amount of wins. I feel disrespectful to some of these teams, like the Miami Heat. Like, I threw up a number, like, and it just doesn't feel like there's no way they're gonna just win that few games. This was hard to predict, but if I'm the Pacers or Celtics, I will really think about tanking to just try to get a better pick for next year, because this feels like a year you're not going to really win anything. Just, why not recruit some assets or get a nice young star potentially to team up for your guy when he's healthy. But the East is going to be a dogfight. I know having the Hornets at 10th is probably crazy, but that's my bold prediction that they'll make the play-in and make the playoffs. Next, in the Western Conference, I got the OKC Thunder at 6-3.5. I'm taking the over. I think the Thunder will look dominant with both bigs. I think they'll be pretty healthy throughout the year. But I don't think this team will win more games than they did last year. Just because that target on your back will be bigger, teams will be more dedicated to like just trying to beat the champs. And that's not to say the Thunder are going to be, just worse. It's just I think they're not going to be prepared at times for teams targeting them more and more. And then it just might just be a slight championship slump. I don't think it's going to be nothing crazy. I think they're going to win a lot of games, but I just don't think they're going to win as much as last year. They might have some crazy winning streaks like last year, though. The Denver Nuggets, they have a 53.5 win rate. I'm going to take them over on the 53.5. Nikola Jokic, I have him being having a great year, top 3 in MVP voting. I think he's surrounded by a great team on paper. I think Cam Johnson will show that he's a better fit than MPJ was last year. I know MPJ was dealing with the shoulder injury and stuff, but I just think he'll do a lot more than just shoot threes. I think he'll do some of the dirty work, play some defense more, whether that be help defense, on the ball defense. I think he'll get some more boards. But yeah, I think they're going to be really good. The Houston Rockets, their over under is 52.5 games. I think KD will have a huge impact on their offense, of course. I think Sengun will really be certified as the hub of the team. I think a man will play at all-star level. I think Reed is going to play very well for them. But at the same time, you're going to notice that they're missing Fred VanVleet, that facilitating that extra scoring. I think they might have to look into the free agency pool once they can. I think in November or December. Maybe that's someone like a Spencer Dinwiddie or someone else that's out there that I can't think off the top of my head. Next, the Minnesota Timberwolves. 49.5. I'm going to take the over on that. I think it's going to be a slight over. I think their team chemistry is going to be off the roof. Just playing well with each other last year, making the Western Conference Finals. I think Ant is going to be in top 5 MVP discussions. I think Rob will see a lot of minutes. I think he'll play pretty well. The Los Angeles Clippers. They have a 49.5 over under. I'm going to take the over on that. I think the Unction will be getting their games done smoothly, under the radar from like big media, from basketball knowers. I think basketball knowers going to just know. I think it's going to be a very successful season for them. I think they're going to be top 15 in offense and defense. And I think Kawhi will make it between 45 games to 55 games. I think that'll be a pretty solid season for him. I would like to see more, honestly, but I think he's going to have a good season. The Golden State Warriors. They have a over or under of 47.5. I'm going to take the over. I think Steph will be spectacular. I think Jimmy and Draymond will be one of the best defensive duos in the league. I think AirPods will look way better than last year. And then Kuminga, I think he will be traded at the deadline. I don't know how many minutes they're going to give him. I feel like they should give him a lot of minutes to help boost his trade value and just to give him some real shine, some real play. Just in case they want to also keep him. But I think he will be traded. Now for the Los Angeles Lakers, they have a over or under 46.5. This is when I end up switching. I originally had it over, but I switched to under. I just think with LeBron having his current injury and it could come back at any moment, he's going to be very cautious and play probably under 65 games, not meeting that requirement mark. I think that's going to hurt them. Their depth already isn't that crazy to me, but I think Luka will look magnificent. I think he'll be in top 5 MVP discussions. I think the team will be very mediocre on defense, but will have a great offense. The San Antonio Spurs. They have an over-under 44.5 wins. I'm going to take the under on that, but I think they'll be a playing team. I think Wemby will look very dominant at times. I think the team will be trying to mesh during this period, and they'll eventually get it. I think D Fox shows us why he's been regarded as one of the best point guards for the past 3 years or so. I think he's going to reclaim that because I think some people are not putting respect on his name. The Dallas Mavericks, they have a 41.5 over under wins. I'm going to take the over on that. I think AD is all first team defense. I think Coop is rookie of the year. I think this team will be top 5 in defense. I almost said top 3, but I think they'll be top 5 because I thought about some other teams. But yeah, I think they're going to be very good and underrated. The Memphis Grizzlies. See, I wasn't sure about the Memphis Grizzlies, man. They have a 39.5 over under on wins. I'm going to take the under. I think Ja will look explosive out the gate. I think Triple J has a great year, but I just think this team is probably going to deal with some injuries. They've been having it rough. I think they'll be in the play-in battle. I just don't know what to say about the team. Them trading Bane and not really getting nobody back. Hopefully someone like Gigi Jackson steps up, or Santi Aldama, or like a Jalen Wales. I just don't know what to gauge about this team. The Portland Trailblazers, 35.5 wins. I'm going to take the under, but I think they will have a really good season. They'll be a very fun young team. I feel they'll be well improved from last year. I think they'll lose some close games. I'll probably hurt them in their race to try to make the play-in. I think Shaden Sharp takes another step. I think Klingon steps out so he could probably play more minutes, and I think there might be some real discussions about his defense being elite or great. I think they're going to be very fun. The New Orleans Pelicans, 31.5 wins. I'm going to take the over. I think this is an all-NBA season for Zion. I think he's going to stay healthy for the requirement. I think this team will stay healthy enough that they can make the play-in. Not to say they won't be dealing with injuries. I think they're going to be able to fight through some of them injuries with Zion being healthy. I think some other key people will be healthy, but I think they still probably will be riddled with some injuries. The Phoenix Suns, a 30.5 over or under. I think D-Book will put up big numbers. I think Jalen Green will kind of look the same, to be honest, but with some more bigger scoring nights. But I just don't think the consistency will be there. Hopefully he proves me wrong. And then for the Utah Jazz, they have a 19.5 over or under. I'm going to take the under, just a slight under. I think they'll be trying to figure out who's their young core. I think Keontae and Ace will really show their consistent scorers. Now let's go into my standings. At 1, I have the OKC Thunder. 2, the Denver Nuggets. 3, the Los Angeles Clippers. 4, the Houston Rockets. 5, the Minnesota Timberwolves. 6, the Golden State Warriors. 7th, the Dallas Mavericks. 8, the Los Angeles Lakers. I originally had them 6 above the Warriors in the Mavs, but I went back down on it because I think the Warriors is going to be a better regular season team. I think AD is going to play a lot of games, man, and really prove that he can help this team win. I think the defense is going to be amazing. It's going to just get them more wins. The Lakers, not a crazy amount more, but just enough to be over them. 9, the San Antonio Spurs. 10, the New Orleans Pelicans. 11, the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they just missed the play-in. I think the Pelicans beat them for the play-in spot. 12, the Sacramento Kings. 13, the Portland Trailblazers. 14, the Phoenix Suns. And 15, the Utah Jazz. I realized I skipped over the Sacramento Kings with the 33.5 wins. I'm going to take the over on it, but I think they'll struggle to mesh at first, and then they'll get together, but I think they'll lose some close games. I count to kind of mess them up for missing the play-in. For Coach of the Year, I think it would be Quinn Snyder of the Atlanta Hawks. And then I think for Clutch Player of the Year, I think it'll be Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. I really couldn't think about Clutch Player of the Year. Honestly, I just want Trae Young. He's a clutch player. I think they'll have some close games. Most improved player, I already said. Andrew Nembhard, I think he's going to be outstanding. I wish I put some dark horses, but I didn't think some dark horses. It's kind of last minute, honestly. 6 Man of the Year. I'm not confident in some of the original picks I had, so I went with Tyus Jones. I think he'll solidify himself as the backup point guard for the Magic and be great. People I thought about was like Josh Hart. DeAndre Hunter's supposed to start. I'm not sure Josh Hart is going to start, come off the bench. I feel a bit more confident him come off the bench if they was going to do with Mitchell Robinson and Cat, but I don't know if Mitchell Robinson is going to stay healthy enough for them to even try that. I thought about Karis LeVert potentially. I thought about Brook Lopez potentially on the Clippers, but I end up going with Tyus Jones. I think Tyus Jones will have a really, really good season. For Defense Player of the Year, Victor Wembanyama. I think he's going to win. If he's healthy enough, he's winning. He just puts up blocks like crazy. He can hit steals. He can guard anybody on the court. The entry for MVP, Nikola Jokic. I think with him being the second seed, that I predict he's going to have stats. I thought about Anthony Edwards, but if I had the Nuggets 2 and the Timberwolves 5, I think it would go to Jokic. I think they'll rather go to the 2 seed. But so my top 3 would probably be Jokic, Giannis, and Anthony Edwards. And my top 3 that I think is going to be, and I'm going to go for Nikola Jokic. So that's my predictions for the year. Oh, I forgot to say for the finals. I'm going to predict is the OKC Thunder versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's what I also predicted last year. Didn't pan out last year for the Cavs making the finals. I think this is the year if Evan Mobley really takes that leap. I originally, if Fred VanVleet didn't get hurt, I was going to pick the Rockets to make the finals. I can't lie. But I got Cavs Thunder finals. I'm going with the Cavs. My bias playing a little bit part of that, but if Evan Mobley takes that leap, I think Cap. Until next time, y'all have a blessed week. Peace.